Hello again from Vegas. So last night I did recording departing from the private aviation area using the BBJ2 from Las Vegas over to Santa Barbara. Now this afternoon I'm going to be taking Southwest's 737-700 over to Orange County. One of the things I like about Orange County is the short fuel performance requirements it has, and also the fact that weather has been so good these past few days in the Southwest US and California that it might be a nice visual approach too. Also, my intent is to continue to look at version 2 of Las Vegas, designed by the awesome Flight Tampa crew. So this is again, compared to yesterday, I was in the corporate aviation area yesterday. Today I'm in the commercial aviation area. So just looking at some of the details here in the terminal. You can even see some of the rust marks in the jet bridge. There's a lot of really good details to highlight. And we are pretty much all set to go. I'll go over our flight plan. We'll be taking off on runway 26 right, making an immediate left turn, heading south, and then southwest. Once we're in SoCal, we're gonna follow the star arrival into Orange County. And again, I'm hoping this is visual. It's gonna be maximum auto brake, flaps 40. So we're gonna take advantage of the aircraft's short fuel abilities. So hopefully it's a fun approach. I mentioned we're all set to go here. Just gonna go over some of the flows here with our checklist. So we're starting with the pre-flight. The oxygen is tested at 100%. Navigation, transfer, and display switches are normal auto. Window heat is on. Pressurization mode selector set to auto. Also going to confirm our landing altitude in Orange County, which is going to be 106 feet. For flight instruments, our initial heading will be 259er. The current altimeter, 30.23. Parking brake set. Start levers cut off. Pre-flight checklist complete. Before start, flight deck door closed and locked. Confirming no fuel in center. Fuel pumps on. Passenger signs on. Windows locked. MCP V2138, heading 259er. Flight level 260 for final cruise. Takeoff speeds. We did our calculation on the performance tool. Has us flaps 1 with a rotation of 135. I'm gonna cross-check it over to the FMC. So looking at the speeds here, we have about 134, 135, 138. So I'm gonna enter the same data here. It was only off on V1, but that is only a 1 knot difference. So that's confirmed. CDU pre-flight completed. Rotor aileron trim free and 0. Taxi takeoff briefing completed. Anti-collision lights on. Before start complete.
Las Vegas ground Southwest 737, could you please disconnect the jetway from the aircraft?
Southwest 2564, hold position, caution, other traffic.
Cockpit to ground.
Southwest 2564, continue taxi.
We've been cleared for pushback and start tail straight out.
Roger that. Roger, Southwest 2564.
Off. Brakes released.
Brakes released, here we go. Pushback complete. Parking brake, please.
Brake set.
Alright, steering pin is disconnected. Watch for the slip release from guidance on your left. Have a good flight.
Before taxi, generators on, probe heat on, anti-ice off, isolation valve auto, start switches continuous, recall. Checked. Auto brake, RTO. Start levers, idle detent. Flight controls. Checked. Ground equipment clear on the right, clear on the left. Ready to taxi.
Allegiant 4-8 requesting pushback. Allegiant 4-8 pushback. Request accepted.
I'm using FSTL, so I think there's like a 120-second limit for any traffic that gets stuck, so they'll just magically disappear. But they seem to be moving pretty well right now. Gear up. So this version 2 of the airport looks really good. Looks like Flight Tampa put a lot of work into updating things, and I think well, they did, and they actually put the correct signage since it's now called Harry Reid Airport and not McCarran Airport. Okay, so let's accelerate and head on over to SoCal. Flaps up. VNAV, LNAV, Command A. After takeoff checklist, engine bleeds on, packs auto. Landing gear up and off, flaps up, no light. After takeoff checklist complete. So we have 185 nautical miles remaining on the flight track. Expecting to arrive at 3 after the hour. So they'll have us airborne for 34 more minutes, more or less. It's a very short flight for those of you who have done this in real life or on the sim. starting to work on the landing calculation. So I'm gonna be aiming for flaps 40, full reverse, max auto brake, very calm winds on the approach. Now it's saying I have a weight limit being in excess of my structural limit, so let me see what I need to do. I might have to cheat a little bit and just change the weight. I noticed on short field performance airports like where we're going now, John Wayne, Orange County, and Santos Dumont in Rio, for example, it's really hard for the performance calculator to give you landing data because it always thinks you're overweight. So let me see what my payload looks like. Okay, that was my bad. I actually thought I had set full passengers but less cargo. So I can trim some cargo numbers here, or just enter a more generic payload number. Let me see if that works. I'll just put 88% payload. Okay, now we have something. So maybe it's just when I go into sim brief at the beginning, I have to really specify the difference between the passenger number and the freight number. So I might have forgotten to enter something. Okay, so if we go full auto brake, working reversers, flaps 40. We only need 3,000 feet of the 5,600 feet, but I'm gonna keep it like this. I don't want to overstress the brakes, so I'll probably just use the whole runway on landing. And again, this is a fun approach, so you do need to be precise. And with this good visual conditions, I'm hoping it's a nice one. So I don't want to jinx myself, but every time I land here, I really had pretty smooth landings. And the current altimeter over there in Orange County is 30.10, so I'm just gonna start inputting that data here as well on the altimeter. So let's see, 30.10. Also setting minimums to 200. I'm also going to monitor the descent, just speed management, descent management are also going to be important for this area. Southern California, I mentioned this, I might have mentioned this yesterday during the flight to Santa Barbara. You have Long Beach, Orange County, LAX, Van Nuys, Burbank. So it's Ontario, very busy airspace. Hopefully the AI programs like the one I'm using today, FSTL, get better with the sequencing and SID star usage separation, and really bring these areas to life, because again it's just amazing the number of flights that are always going on between commercial, private, general, with so many airports in the area. So our steps here on the way down are going to be 250, 200, 150, 140. I want to level off at some point to slow it down even more. So maybe I'll just set it to 3,400 and just monitor the descent. One thing I'm looking forward to, I'm not a VATSIM user, I might start eventually using it, but I do like accurate ATC directions for altitude changes during climb and descent. But the one that's default with flight sim is a mess. It's never reliable, or seldom reliable. So I try to do this descents on my own. And we have a beautiful day, but I did turn the terrain radar on because I know east of the LA area there are high mountains. Flaps 1. I've been using flight sim for almost 3 years now, and I'm still amazed at the level of detail this photogrammetry provides for Southern California, or for just about anywhere in the world. They really did a good job with that part. Flaps 5. Yeah, SoCal definitely is one of the best photogrammetry areas I've seen on flight sim. It's just I've been here before in many parts of SoCal, and it just looks incredible. Oh, and let's get those main landing lights on. That'd be nice. Okay, we got glide slope alive. I'm gonna get configured early so I can hand fly this approach. I definitely don't want to waste this beautiful day and just rely on the ILS to take me down most of the way. So we'll arm here. So we'll have continuous engine starters, speed brake armed, get our landing gear down. I'm gonna go to flaps 40. So I'm just going to follow the cue until I have positive idea of the runway. Well, as a matter of fact, I already see the runway, so I got the runway in sight. And as predicted, the winds are light and variable. Flaps 25, flaps 30. Flaps 40, landing check is complete. Landing.
50, 30, 10.
Speed brake up.
Smooth one. That's what people pay for.
Reverse green, manual braking. Okay, that was a very fast stop. Every time I land here, I usually wind up using the entire runway, but okay, I'm gonna use the entire runway simply because there is a fellow Southwest waiting for takeoff here, and again, that shows the AI traffic algorithm is not set to the real world. Those of you familiar with Southern California, takeoffs are to the west during the daylight to follow noise abatement procedures, and Orange County here has one of the most strict noise abatement rules, which takeoffs involve a very high pitch to get you high as quickly as possible, so as not to bother the residents in that small strip west of the airport between the airport and the ocean. Same thing for LAX. Just take off to the west during the daylight. This part of the country has very calm winds most of the year, so at night planes will land to the east again, so they fly mainly over water and not residential areas. So that southwest over there, unless he's gonna park somewhere, he should not be in that part of the airfield. So okay, let's clean up here. Flaps up. We'll also get our APU started. Steady light. We'll turn our terrain radar off and put our transponder on standby. And I don't know why my flap lever is dancing so much. I think I have it properly calibrated. And you can see here in Orange County there's a lot of general aviation. So this traffic, this airport has a lot of commercial and private traffic and general traffic during hours of operation. It's also got a very strict curfew. I think it's 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So they're very conscious of the residential areas here. Now I am curious as to where Southwest parks here. I've only done this airport in the sim, not in real life. So let me see what ground suggests. I think the AFCATs here are correct.
John Wayne Ground Southwest 737 request taxi to parking.
Southwest 737 taxi to general aviation parking. Using
Nope,
taxiway
they're wrong.
Alpha.
I am not going to general aviation parking.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha.
So I'm going to use one of the available gates here on the western side of the airport. Let me see if the bridges have any airline labels. If I'm not mistaken, Southwest does tend to park on this western edge of the airport or the terminal, so I'm going to choose one of these. This rendition of Orange County is made by another fine developer, UK 2000 Scenery. So that was, I think it's one of the first UK 2000 airports outside of the UK proper. And they did a very nice job, and they've already updated it a couple of times. So this is a fun airport. I mentioned this earlier. For takeoff and landing, you get to really put the 737's short field performance capacities or capabilities to good use. So, and most of the year we get this kind of weather, so you can't complain. There's really no reason to rely on automation. Alright, brakes on, cut off. And I was daydreaming during departure and turned on the anti-ice instead of the propede. Didn't realize that until later in the flight. And that's what I get for multitasking. My office hours ended about 3 hours ago, but there was still a lot of emails coming in from the office, so I definitely don't multitask when you fly. Okay, we're all set here. We're gonna get our bridge connected.
Requesting pushback. American 246 tree, pushback request accepted.
We'll get our blocks positioned. I wonder, ground services, do we have any ground services? Yeah, we do. It's just a little bit slow to, there we go. It's a little bit slow to
John
provide
Wayne
the
Ground
options.
Southwest 737, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
Southwest 737, the jetway is going to be connected. John Wayne Brown ground, American 246 tree, requesting the end of pushback. American 246 tree, request to end pushback received.
Typically Southwest has very quick turnaround, so considering right now in SoCal it's 4 p.m. this baby is gonna keep on flying. That are short and medium routes. I'm thinking since the airplane is currently in Southern California and it came from Vegas, it would typically follow a pattern where some of the passengers can have multiple stops before getting to their final destination. So I would venture to guess that instead of going back eastward, it'll probably head northward, maybe from here over to the San Francisco Bay Area, and then from the Bay Area up to Portland, Seattle. And if we were starting here early in the day, we'd head eastward, maybe Vegas first, then Phoenix, El Paso, San Antonio, Houston. So it'll follow a very long series of segments. And again, if some passengers are willing to fly all day to get to their final destination for a cheaper price, some of them will stick around from starting the day in California to finishing at, I don't know, New Orleans, perhaps even Florida. So it depends on the schedule. The most stops I've made as a passenger on Southwest, I think it's only been a couple of stops.
Southwest 458 taxi to gate 20 using taxiway Echo Alpha Delta cross runway 2 left Delta Bravo Echo cross runway 2 left Echo Alpha. Roger, American 246 tree.
Yeah, so like I said, a very nice evening, very nice visual conditions for this arrival, really enjoyable.
Taxiing to gate 20 by a taxiway Echo Alpha Delta.
And I'm still trying to find a sweet spot with the FSTL traffic. When we arrived, the tails looked a lot different on the eastern part of the airport. Now there's some Southwest tails over there that weren't there before. So trying to find a sweet spot for traffic generation and to avoid traffic from disappearing and just respawning without me commanding that. So I have a very fast computer, so I'm not necessarily worried about the number of aircraft on the ground and in the air. So as always, thank you for watching. So have a good evening from here in the US East Coast, and if you're on the other side of the world, have a great day. So we'll see you soon. Take care.